Hey everybody, it's Peter and we're back today to continue our Peterbilt series. Now in this video I'm going to compare the 567 with the 589, but these two vehicles are equipped very similarly. Now they happen to have different powertrains. In this video, because there's so much information on powertrains to talk about, in this video we're going to focus on the non-powertrain differences between these two. And there's quite a few little things and there's some pros and cons to each one. So in the future, if you're into this kind of series, we're going to talk powertrain, transmissions, we're going to talk about all the technical stuff in the future. But in this one, just to get started, I want to talk about the differences between these two trucks and the purposes and the benefits of each one as we go through this sort of series. So if you've missed this series in the past, what we did is we started a number of weeks ago doing a Peterbilt series. We're going to spend most of the next year going through these things. So if you have questions about these trucks, or whether you're a fan of them and you drive them every day, whether you just never know anything about them like me and you just want to get to know them, then that's what this is about. So I'm filming here at Peterbilt Atlantic and these guys are absolute experts. They're so professional and they really help me get to know something. So for me, this is a stretch off what I normally do. Normally I stick with the power sports, but I'm getting to know these because I've always found them interesting and I'm learning more and more about them. So like I said, in this video, we're talking about the non-powertrain differences between two trucks that are essentially designed to do the pretty much the exact same thing, and we'll talk about the pros and cons. So let's get going with this review. So let's step back from the trucks for a second and put these in context. If you think about going to a Honda dealer or a Toyota dealer or something like that, and you see a number of small SUVs, and you kind of wonder, you know, why is there so many, right? They basically do the same thing. Well, the trucking industry is a lot the same way. People have different preferences as well as different needs. So if you're looking behind me and you're saying, okay, this one's more modern style with the aerodynamics, this is more traditional style, so this one must be a newer truck, that's not the case. These are both brand new trucks and they both serve, like I said, the same purpose. What you get on these is, this is the more expensive design, which some people are surprised by. They might think, okay, the staid, regular, traditional view is the less expensive one, but that's not the case in this case. So this one here with the aerodynamics is actually a little bit less expensive, and that can make for some advantages and again, some disadvantages. A lot of people like this one here, even though it's more expensive, for that traditional look, for that traditional kind of feel as well, and it also has a little bit better resale value. So there's the value equation more than just the price equation, but you're dealing with two very heavy duty trucks. Now traditionally this model, the 567, is used for things like mining and forestry, and you know, you can have the 567 in a dump truck kind of thing. They can hold up to 100,000 pounds of GVW, or since people don't always like when I use pounds, they want me to use kilograms, let's just go with 10 elephants. That's what the GVW could be, GVWR on these things can be. So there's a lot of weight there and a lot of people use these for different things. So this one is sort of a naturally heavy duty. The one behind me is traditionally a highway truck, and you're gonna notice some differences with, like, for instance, the difference between where the wheel is placed compared to the cab on this truck versus that truck. That highway thing, technically it's not gonna have as tight of a turning circle, but we're gonna show you the tires on these as well and just show you the traction tire. So lots of little details to show you. Let's start by taking a look at the very front of them both, take a look at a few things there and work our way through. So the 589 that I'm standing in front of right now is really that traditional look. It's called the long nose version of this, and it's got that traditional square down the side, square up top. And you can see just from a height difference, if I'm standing in front, I'm about 6 feet tall, and you got that 3-bar Peterbilt grille with the Peterbilt logo up there. From a height difference, obviously, if I'm standing right in front of here, the driver can't see me. So that is one of the advantages of this more sloping front end. It does give a little bit better visibility because, again, I'm about 6 feet tall and you can see that my head's about there. Now, there are other differences in just basic lighting. Although these units look to me to be nearly identical, this one over here on the 589 does have a daytime running light down here, and that gives you a little bit extra daytime running light, a little extra bling with the truck as well. Down here, you've got different bumpers on both of these. Now you can equip them with whatever bumper you want. So although, you know, you could say that this angled version could offer you a little better ground clearance or a little better approach angle. It's really just about style. This truck here, as equipped, was going to have a sort of a moose bumper, they call it, on the front. So it's something that protects the front in animal contact situations, which does happen out here, especially in dark situations at night on these dark highways out here in New Brunswick. So there is some differences in style and practicality. Obviously, we're going to show you from the cab. You get a little bit better visibility from that one. But again, the traditional look here and the traditional breathers are a big piece. They always talk about the breathers here. out here on the outside. You don't see that many more on very often anymore on trucks, simply because they talk a lot about aerodynamics. It's such a key piece to getting fuel efficiency. A lot of trucks share engines and you have to be aerodynamic. So for Peterbilt to keep these traditional look and still meet those aerodynamic requirements is actually pretty impressive. Now you'll see on the tops of this truck here, this one here has a little visor. You may not be able to see it above the window here. This one is going to be equipped with one, but it doesn't come standard with one. It's got different horns up there that are not standard, so you can always accessorize these up. A lot of people tend to accessorize this model, the 589, up more so than the 567. Staying with the 589 here, you can see sort of that elongated hood places the wheel outside of the cab area. You're going to see when we show you on the other one that the tire area comes in this area. That shortens the step down. So again, a little bit more length in the step, and then they also include steps back here. Now I'm not sure if that's an accessory or not, but this truck is equipped with steps back here and there, and the elongation there does create a little bit extra bling as well. I do want to show you the tires on this before we walk around to the other side of the other truck, because the tires are identical on both, and these are really known as good tires, so let's talk about them. So the rear tires on both these trucks is the same, and these are class-leading tires. Michelin XD S2. This XD series has a really deep lugs here. Now I'm standing in the sunlight there, maybe you can't see it as well, but this tire here is known for, you know, some of the sales guys here were describing that some of their drivers talk about it as a almost like having chains on when you're in these low traction situations there. So you can see it says right there, Michelin durable technologies. Now the reason you wouldn't put these on every truck is there are tires that get a little bit better mileage than these, like tread life wear than these, but these ones are exceptional apparently on low traction surfaces. And so that gives you the thing. Sometimes you think tires are tires, but trucks, of course, different situations. If it's purely highway, you get a purely highway tire. But if you're working construction sites, dirty areas, logging roads, you're gonna want different tires, and these ones are some of the best. So back around here on the opposite truck, the 567, you've got, again, this one's a white truck, the other one is gray and blue. Hopefully that will show up on camera when we're moving back and forth. But there's a couple things here that I find really interesting. First of all, the doors on these look similar to me. They do have the sort of similar line down here and the angle down here, but they have a different body panel down there, or a different body shape down there. So I'm not sure if they're the same doors or not, but they are certainly very similar doors. As we zoom in over here, you'll sort of see exactly what I mean. We're gonna zoom in and look at a couple things there. So you can sort of see there's the straight line across by the door handle here, and as we come back over here to this one here, you've got sort of that multi-piece design by the door handle. What I wanna point out about these doors though, is that they close better than an automotive door. When you talk about Peterbilt, you have to talk about the quality, the fit and finish on these, and like I said, the way this door closes, even on the less expensive truck, is phenomenal. It's like automotive excellence right there. And a lot of times you wouldn't think of that. You maybe think a truck is kind of rattly or something like that compared to your everyday car. Absolutely not. Great sort of door closure, great quality control in these Peterbilt. So one thing I want to show you here is the mirrors. I'm not on a perfect angle here, but you can sort of see there's the traditional mirrors there, and then there's a little round mirror down below on the 589, the traditional look there. And then on this one, you have the single piece mirror here, so a little bit more of a different look, modern look. All right, let's hop into these trucks and talk about the differences that we see from inside. So taking a look in here, we should probably just shut one of these doors so you can hear it. Now I am wearing the mic, so I'll stand nice and close to the door here. It just sounds so solid. I don't know if the mic picks it up the right way, but it's just a really solid close. So I'm gonna go wide angle for a second here. That can skew the edges, skew the look of the view here. There are handles to help me get in here, and they're inside on the left here. I am holding the camera in one hand, so you can see this is a manual transmission, just like a clutch just like your manual transmission car. And as we get into these, you're gonna see a very similar dash in both. So we've got the traditional digital dash, which again, we're gonna show you in a future video, all of your controls over here, so you can change the brightness of the dash, cruise control, there's some navigation available in the dash. That was I believe a 15-inch dash. It's a very, very large dash, much bigger than a typical car dash. Over here, this one's equipped with the traditional style gauges over here. So you've got front axle temperature, looks like, suspension load, manifold temperature there, all kinds of things, rear axle load, fuel filters, oil temperature, all kinds of things in there. Traditional kind of, traditional stereo system in there. You've got Sirius XM satellite radio for your driver, which is nice to have. Driver comfort is a big piece of all the Peterbilt trucks, because a driver that is comfortable is going to be safer, going to be more engaged in their work and that kind of thing. So you've got that going for you. Over here, traditional plastics over here, you can equip some of these with sort of a desk coming out of there, so you have an ability to work in this truck. We're going to talk about what all these buttons do in future videos here, but hey, check out the manual transmission. You don't see those anymore in many cars anymore. Now, we've looked at a bunch of these trucks that are you know, sleeper cabs. This one, of course, has a window on the back. A lot of light comes into this cab here. I will also show you out the front here. Now, I haven't got the seat set to where it should be. Let me just press the button up here. Might have to turn the key back on. There we go. Turn the key back on. You can see here as I'm rising up on this seat here, the view down the front is actually very good. We're going to shut the door here fully. And you can see you've got a good view down the side. I can't quite see the fender maybe, but you can see out the front. We're parked along that white line. So you can see that white line come right up along the side of the vehicle right there. So pretty good view out of the front here with this shorter and narrower front end here. We're going to show you that just to compare to the truck. The other thing is this one does have a bit of a sun visor there. Doesn't come down in front of the windshield. Some of them do. This one just kind of comes out over the windshield, so you can sort of see a little bit of what that does. But again, very good visibility, including behind you here with that window. So you can keep an eye on a little bit extra stuff here with this look. Now let's jump in the other vehicle, the other truck there, and compare the differences. So looking at, again, at the shape here, you've got that angled down front here. You've got the wheel closer to the door, almost like the door line almost comes along the edge of that wheel. As you move over to the sort of elongated hood here, you've got, again, a total separation between the cab area and the wheel. So there is a difference, again, in turning circle. Also gives you the longer step there. Let's go wide angle for a second here as we jump in this truck. There's the mirrors I was trying to show you. We're looking at the sunlight there, so hopefully we can get the mirror. There we go. Hide the sun behind the mirror. Different mirrors here. Opening the door here feels the same, looks the same. A little different seating in here, as you can see. So this one has a different style seat. And I'll be very honest, I didn't check if that's an option or if that's something that's kind of standard on this truck that's different here. So jumping up here into this seat, we're going to turn the truck on. One thing I should mention here, the key is over here, just like a Porsche 911. It's on the left side there. That makes some sense to me. This one still has some plastic on the dash, so don't worry about the clarity of the dash. It's a very clear dash, but it still has, ooh, got the radio on. Turn the radio off there. So it still has the plastic on the dash here, so don't worry about the clarity of the dash. That's not what we're showing. Now, interestingly, because this is a longer hood, let's just bring it up a little bit for me, if I can find how to do that. Oh, there we go. As we're coming up a little bit here, you can still see that that angle still allows you to have a good view of the front there. You can see the headlight there on the front, so you still have a good view. Breather might block a little bit, but you still have a good view along the side of the truck here. The difference is, like I said, if there was a 6-footer standing immediately in front of this truck, that's a little less visibility, but visibility is still very good. Now this one, I can see why they put those big sunshades down here. It's a pretty sunny day up here, a lot of sun coming into the cab, and there is a big window here. So this one, of course, is going to have a sort of windshield cover there. I can't remember what they call it now, sunshade there, and that is going to give you a little bit of extra visibility. So visibility here again, the doors are very tall windows, so you can see down very well. Obviously the mirrors are excellent, and then of course you still have a back window here as well. Overlooking at the dash here, we'll just show you a bit of the dash. Lots of style in the gauges here. You've got a lot of the same gauges over here. Again, these vehicles are equipped the same. Down here you've got the automatic climate control, different style or different types of switches in here, but very similar. Again, switches, we're not looking at the exact thing. Both these are manual transmission. That is a common thing in some of these heavier duty type trucks rather than pure highway trucks. And we'll talk about that in a future video as well. I touched on it a little bit before when I did a torque and horsepower video, so you can check that video out if you want to see there. But very similar dashes, similar buttons here. Now this one does not have the button here to adjust brightness here that the other one did. Still has your navigation options, your cruise control right there, and of course your audio controls right there on the steering wheel. Large steering wheels, but not like, you know, hilariously large like the older trucks. Very sort of manageably large in my mind. So again, I'm not a trucker, I'm just learning about these, but yeah, it's larger than your car, but smaller than the traditional older trucks for sure. So there you go, there's your sort of view out both trucks. Let's wrap this one up by talking about which one is for which. So with two very similar trucks, which one is best for who? I think I said which one's best for which on the last scene, but which one's best for who? Well, it really depends on what you want. If you really want the tighter wheelbase, if you're buying a large fleet of trucks, then this might make a lot of sense. Again, mechanically, you can equip these things virtually the same. These two in front of us today do have different engines in them, but mechanically they can be equipped almost exactly the same, and that offers you some savings when you step into this model. Now, if those of you who are familiar with the traditional truck, this is still a popular truck. If you're gonna put a few accessories and options on, if you're buying a single truck and you want it to hold its value better, that is your model right now. So in the future, we're gonna talk. Today we did a review without talking about powertrain, which is kind of crazy when you think about trucks, but as the winter sets here in Atlantic, Canada, as the winter sets in, we're gonna start talking inside in a huge bay in there, and we're gonna talk about some of the technologies in these things. We're gonna talk about the differences between the types of engines and the types of transmissions and the situations where you may need one type of thing over another. We're gonna talk about the suspension. We're gonna talk about all the heavy duty truck type things. And if that's in any way interesting to you, it's interesting to me. I hope you'll stay tuned and I hope you'll subscribe. I want to point out, if you're anywhere in Atlantic, Canada, there's, I'm going to get the numbers wrong. It's something like 7 or 9, I think it's 7 locations at least in the 5 provinces in Atlantic, Canada, all taken care of by Peterbilt Atlantic here. So if you're out Eastern Canada and you see a Peterbilt Atlantic, it's these guys. They are absolutely amazing. They really know their stuff. As I said off the top, I don't know my stuff. These guys do. They're teaching me because I want to sort of stretch myself and learn about something interesting this year. So hopefully you'll come along with me in that journey, and we'll catch you in the next one. Thanks everybody for watching.